see, I am the creator, and this is my house.
Welcome back to Dragon Warrior 2, beloved franchise, not so beloved game. Yes, that's right, relative to the other Dragon Quests, this one is considered to be the worst one. In fact, I don't even know why we picked this one. We probably would have had a lot more fun with Dragon Warrior 1. Would have made for some better tent, as the kids say. That's how they abbreviate content, I've been told. I don't like to think of myself as a content creator per se. People who call themselves content creators are just gross. Fuck them. Anyway, so before this recording started, I was looking at the Did You Know Gaming Dragon Quest video to see if perhaps maybe there was some trivia I could use, and I forgot that they got JonTron to narrate that one. That was the first time I've probably heard JonTron's voice in years. I mean, he's still making stuff, but nobody really watches it, you know, myself included, so that was quite the contrast. I didn't even look at the title somehow, so just then all of a sudden you hear, "Hey ho, it's me, it's JonTron, Deborah, Robert, Marie." I don't know why he turned into Ray Romano. I was just watching a different channel earlier today, and they had some joke about a Ray Romano being boiled alive in a big stew, and he was going to be made into a bone broth, and "Oh, I'm a bone broth. Don't put rabbit's bones in here, they're too big." Anyway, doesn't that guy we're talking to look like the guy from Chalk Zone? Rudy's got the chalk. Yes, he does. I'm surprised Chalk Zone was never a bigger thing. Seemed like a fun concept that you could really go places with. Both Cat Dog and Chalk Zone seem like the type of shows that could have just gone on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, amen. But unfortunately, they never hit it big. Perhaps if they had premiered in a different era of television, maybe they could have. 'Cause I mean, it seems like shows in general last a lot longer. Excuse me, than they used to. Like, take Bob's Burgers, for example. If Bob's Burgers had premiered maybe 10 years earlier, it probably would have gotten maybe 3 seasons, but just by sheer luck of the draw, it premiered in the era where animated cartoons don't really end, and now Bob's Burgers has basically been going on for what, 12 years now? And who's even watching it? Anyway, staying on task, by chance have you ever heard the tales of that controversial Dragon Quest composer? He's the one who deliberately puts worse versions of the music in the American version because he has a virulent mistrust of the white man. I think he passed away recently at about 90 years old, but his legacy lives on. Even in Smash Bros, there was some kind of shenanigans with the soundtrack, and somebody was saying, yes, it wouldn't be proper representation of Dragon Quest unless Sugiyama pulled a fast one on us. So this is the Spring of Bravery, by the way. I feel like I'm a tour guide on a bus tour, like that episode of Rocko's Modern Life. He's got to stop screaming at Rocko for a few seconds so he can point out to everybody that on your left you'll see the Louvre. But anyway, the wizard's gonna grant us a magical spell of some kind. It's gonna imbue us with great bravery so we can finally confront our enemies. You're a fake and a fraud! Anyway, speaking of spells, there are actual spells you can do in combat later in the game. That's kinda cool. Get some... Oh, that's a new enemy. Anyway, get some firepower. Remember that scene from Night at the Museum where the statue of Michelangelo's David, he flexes and he goes, firepower? When that commercial was circulating around 2009, there was a guy at my school who was just utterly obsessed with that commercial, and he would quote it almost every day. And then when the movie finally came out, he told us that when it got to that part in the movie, he stood up and did it with the guy in the theater, the guy being the character in the movie. I don't know, just a funny thing that I remember. I don't have too many happy memories, so I gotta cling to the ones I got. 'Cause most of them just involve horrible things. I don't know what. I was trying to quote that talking fish that sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger from that one episode of Billy and Mandy where it's a courtroom drama, and they bring back all of the characters from previous episodes, and they ask the fish what Mandy did to him, and he says, "Horrible things. I don't want to talk about it." What an episode. I think they even had a cameo from Scooby-Doo in that episode, too. Pretty much anything goes in Billy and Mandy. So, plot-wise, the Prince of Canuck wasn't in the cave where we were expecting him to be. The wizard told us to go look in Middenhall, so away we go. You know, I was watching a speed run of this the other day, and there's some crazy people out there. Some crazy fucking people doing crazy flippin' things. You see, there was a guy speedrunning this, and he figured out that if he could selectively press B on certain frames of the game, it would reset the game's RNG, so then the wild battles just wouldn't happen. So long as he kept just resetting the code, he would never have to fight anything. And from there, you can just fly the hell right through this. I mean, if it wasn't for the battles, this whole game would probably be like, 30 minutes long? 30 minutes or less. You ever see the movie 30 Minutes or Less, where those guys kidnapped the pizza guy and they strapped a bomb to his neck and forced him to rob a bank? That was a comedy, strangely enough. That was the wrong town, so we're just gonna skip right past that. But yeah, they made a comedy movie with the premise I just mentioned. And to make it even more absurd, it was based on a true story. Certainly wasn't funny when it happened in real life. That is for sure. At this point in our character development, the slugs can't even hurt us, by the way. The slug can't even handle me right now. That's fucking stupid. Don't leave that in. Anyway, do you think they're ever gonna make an HD remaster of Dragon Quest VIII? And I guess by extension all of the other legacy Dragon Quest games. I mean, we got the Final Fantasy pixel remasters. I would like to think that Square Enix could stand to make a whole lot of money if they made their back catalog anew. There was the 3DS Dragon Quest VIII, but anyway, here's the guy we were looking for. Our first official party member. Hello, friend. He's gonna follow us down like the Gin Blossoms song. You guys ever listen to Gin Blossoms? Good group. So at this stage, he's only at level 1. He doesn't come with the full set. Okay, we cured that guy's hiccups apparently. I didn't even know that was a problem. They should have coded in a hiccuping sound into the sound track. Anyway, so yeah, he basically starts out at 0 as a party member. We have to buy all of his weapons and level him up and such. As if we didn't need more room or more reason to grind. I'm starting to see why Super Derek wasn't a fan of this one. Super Derek put this in his playlist of the worst RPGs of all time. So let's see what the new guy can do, huh? Don't step in poison land. For God's sakes, have some common decency. Can we get a... Okay, there we go. I don't think this enemy's hardy enough to take 2 hits. I think the first guy's just gonna go. And then, yeah, we don't even get to see what Lars does. What a fucking ripoff.